Yo, yo, yo. You're now tuned in to Cigar Vibes, Cognac Conversation, presented by Johnny Boy Cerebral. On the ones and twos, we have the queen of all things indie, Miss Lovey. How you doing over there today, Miss Lovey?
I'm all right, pretty fucking amazing. I'm gonna say so myself.
Quick mental check. How you feeling? How's your head?
Feels amazing. My head's amazing. Everything's amazing.
Okay, right on.
Kind of, yeah.
Today we have a special guest today, man. Mr. Commissioner Keith Henry.
Welcome.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you for taking the time. Mental check. How you feeling today?
Feeling great.
Cool. For the people out there listening, this is the first episode, Cigar Vibes, Cognac Conversation. The cigars represent the vibe. The cognac represents the conversation or whatever spirit you may be sipping on during that time. Today will not be a strong interview type of deal. We'll have more of a conversation about quite a few things. I will be asking a few questions. First off, what cigar are you smoking?
Sober Mason. Creme brulee.
Okay.
So the niche market cigar. That is one of my favorites.
Right on. Is that Nicaraguan?
I believe so.
Dominican?
I don't know. I need to ask. I know it's something that I've been smoking for the past 2 or 3 months.
Okay. Today, San Cristobal Revelation has a 92 rating from the year 2014, I believe, in Cigar Aficionado magazine. And the conversation is also sponsored by Tycoon Cognac, actually E40 strength, Mr. Earl Stevens.
Thank you, sir. I feel like that deserved a round of applause.
Right on.
I like the cognac. What do you think? Did you try it yet?
I did. I like it. It's pretty smooth. I know I'll be buying it again.
What's your normal favorite cognac?
Hennessy Privileged, Martell, Blue Swift.
Love the Blue Swift.
Yeah. Also Douce. I gotta throw Douce in there for sure.
All right. What about you?
I like it.
You know, Mr. Johnny he's eloquent.
I see. Oh, prestigious fella.
I am going to. I'm strictly Crown.
Oh, classy man. I love it. So have you had this before? This particular?
I have not. This is my first time.
Okay.
I'm really enjoying it.
Okay. Compared to all the...
Yeah. There's one I really like. Knob Creek is pretty good.
I've never heard of this Knob Creek.
It's a whiskey.
Oh. Whiskey.
Pretty good, pretty stiff.
That's probably why I've never heard of it.
Stiff and sturdy. All right, so Mr. Keith, starting off real quick, I want to ask you about something. I have some numbers for you. You can tell me if they ring a bell or what do they represent. Are you familiar with, let's say, 22.19?
First place indoor championship when I was in college. In the track and field tennis.
Right on. 200 meters.
What?
Yep.
Okay.
How about
quick on your feet, were you?
How about 49.83?
That is one that I don't like to remember. That is second place indoor championship to a guy named Eric. We were rivals in college. He was a really good dude. We were never really friends, but we always kind of encouraged each other. He was tough to beat.
Right. How about
I don't want to just skip over that. So, I mean, did you ever beat him? Is there another? I feel like there's a beat.
I did beat him.
Okay, so you did beat him. I'm nosy. I'm sorry.
I never beat him in the 400.
Oh, okay.
I did beat him in the 2.
Okay, in the 200.
So he can beat me in the 2, and I cannot beat him in the 4.
Oh, okay. So he's more of a 4 lap around, or half. Well, half a lap around.
Uh, he was strong.
Oh, okay.
I was fast, and the last 50 meters.
When's the last time you did a race?
My daughter
Mm.
is my oldest daughter. She's actually one of the fastest in the state of Texas, and fastest in the country in the age group. Actually,
How old is she?
she's 12.
Okay.
So I'm bragging a little bit.
Oh, okay. So she's gonna be fast.
Yeah.
If she's already that fast at 12, she's gonna be fast.
She's already fast. She's in the top 25 in the country.
Okay.
The top 10 in the state.
Safe to say it runs in the blood then.
It does.
Good stock.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there, man. Sure. You have a couple of honors, man. I want to talk about Galveston County 40 under 40 honoree 2020.
Yes, sir.
How was that?
It was actually by surprise. Someone asked, would it be okay if they nominated me?
Mhm.
I said, of course. And I didn't think I was necessarily deserving at the time, but I was honored. So out of the top 40 individuals 2020, that was me.
And you actually made that list twice, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Made it again. Texas Black Democrats 40 under 40
Yes, sir.
honoree 2021.
Yes, sir. I did not know I was being nominated for that. And actually, how I found out, I was in Austin, and I was in the state rep's office. I walked into the state rep's office, and his legislative director said, "Congratulations." And I thought he was being sarcastic. And so I said, "Congratulations for what?" He said, "Well, you're Commissioner Henry, right?" I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Do you know that you've just been named 40 under 40 for Texas Coalition of Black Democrats?" I did not know that. I said, "Well, could you please send me the link or that publication?" And sure enough,
That's dope.
here
That's
I was.
dope.
So, top 40 for Texas Coalition of Black Democrats.
Right on.
Honor.
Could you tell the people a little bit about how this journey started, as far as the political side?
So right out of undergrad, which is Buffalo State College in New York, and I'm a native of Galveston, Texas. So I was looking for something to do, getting ready to graduate. I really didn't have a plan. So I went to my advisor at the time, and I told him, I asked him, what can I do? And it just so happened he was meeting some wealthy benefactors at our museum, College Campus Museum. And he said, well, welcome me over to the museum. And when I did, I met the wealthy benefactor, elderly white couple, and the white woman. She mentioned to me, she looked at me and she said, you should go into politics. And I thought she was absolutely absurd for saying that.
Right.
The neighborhood that we're from, being from an underserved community, we didn't see politicians.
Right.
And so, okay, she's just saying that probably because I'm black. At the time, this is when President Obama, but he was then running to become Senator Obama.
Okay.
He was just becoming really kind of prevalent in political lexicon or just in a conversation. And so I thought, maybe she's just saying that because of him. So sure enough, what I did, I just enrolled into graduate school, and I was fortunate enough to get some kind of serendipitous internships, let me say that. And, there was one, there's actually a commissioner here in Harris County, God rest his soul. His name Commissioner Earl Franco Lee. He actually gave me my shot into politics. And if anybody knows about his story, he was from Fifth Ward, graduated Wheatley High School, and Congressman Mickey Leland gave him his shot. Very similar story to me. Single parent home, indigent, poor, and Congressman Mickey Leland was looking for somebody that he can give a chance. And Commissioner Lee's that's what he tried to, well, that's what he did. He gave me a chance. And I was the only intern that he picked to work with him one semester.
Okay.
He handpicked me. He said, okay, I want Keith. Now, it's funny, I'm commissioner. It's got
Right.
that's funny how that works, right? And since then, I've been in love with politics, and I've been in love with the side that actually does something beneficial for the community. That's what I learned from Commissioner Lee, and I will never take that public servant or being a heart for public servant, having the heart of a public servant for me.
Okay. Right on. Um, so you held the commissioner seat down in Galveston County, Texas City, correct? Uh, you were once running for county judge in Galveston. What inspired the jump over to state representative with District 23, which is what you're currently running for right now, right?
So it's on the Republican side. Representative Mays Middleton, he's now running for state senator.
Right, I see that.
Him and I had a very good working rapport. And so I didn't want to run against him.
Mhm.
Now, when he moved from the state representative seat to run for state senator, it opened the seat up. So for me, I feel that my value or my skill set is more conducive to legislating in terms of writing legislation, putting policy into law, actually building bridges between both parties, and working on behalf of the constituency. County judges, it would have been great. I do have that administrative skill, nonetheless, in terms of actually putting law to paper that is going to have a direct impact on individuals' lives and constituencies. I just thought the seat is the best fit for me.
Right. Okay. Um, is this still amongst your mission to become the first African American governor of Texas?
Uh, it was a childhood dream to become the third grade. It's ironic.
Mhm.
I would always envision myself as the governor of Texas. Because third grade in Texas, and I don't know if that rule has changed. Third grade in Texas is actually where you learn Texas government. So for me, I don't know where that epiphany came from or that aspiration. I just envisioned myself. I remember the little third grade me. I want to be the governor of Texas one day. Or I will be the governor of Texas. So that is another reason why that the transition into to running for state rep was, I guess, more of a viable option for me because it gives me the experience if a potential run for governor happens down the line. Currently, though, my focus is towards the constituents of District 23, state of Texas, state house.
Okay. I had another one. Would you ever consider running for attorney general, possibly? Did it ever cross your mind?
It hasn't. That could be a possibility. And with being attorney general, you need to be a licensed attorney in order to become one. Again, not saying that won't be a possibility down the line, but there's some formalities that I need to
Hmm.
address. One, graduation from law school will be started, and passing the bar will be another one. So we can we can consider that, but no, attorney general is not.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Okay. Um, so I had a little information. So it says historically in Texas, voter participation in midterm primary elections are dismal, with less than a quarter of registered voters submitting ballots most years. The stats say in 2022, uh, the turnout as of February 17th, there's only 2.7% of 17.2 million registered voters. 1.7% being Republicans, one pushing Democrats. Uh, hundreds of ballots are being returned due to non-compliance with the new voting law pertaining to the new identification requirement. How do you how do you feel? Do you feel this is suppressing votes?
Absolutely. The new voting law directly, and it disproportionately impacts both your your poor uh, citizens, your people of color
Mhm.
who don't have, who traditionally don't have the flexibility to go out and vote at what we call non-peak hours. Right? They have to work. What's unique is what data currently suggests is not only is it impacting what we call traditional Democratic bloc, it's also impacting your conservative bloc because they're getting their ballots or their mail-in ballots, voters registration is getting rejected at the same pace as Democratic voters. So a bill, say quote unquote, that was messaged as something that will increase integrity actually is to hurt the the citizens. We've definitely have to change that. I believe all voters should have access, particularly in the age of technology, to the ballot, and we should not be allowing a certain segment of society to choose our leaders. We should be an inclusive government, and we should allow everyone to have the right, because there is a constitutional right, to have a right to vote on who we believe will lead us, who will be the best representatives for all of us.
Um, how do how do I want to put it? They have it. I guess they passed that for. I guess in that terms they would say for voter fraud, right? As
That was
far
the
as
message, right?
the reason they created
There's
the new guidelines or requirements.
right. That's at least that was the message. Right?
Mm.
What we know, what data and empirical facts tell us is voting fraud is nominal. I mean, it's less than it's less than 1% that attempt voter fraud. So what it did is it was very restrictive. It was if the current voting law that we have in the state of Texas is intentionally discriminatory. Is it intended to keep the poor and people of color out, the traditional Democratic vote out? Texas is, we can even use the greater Houston metropolitan area. It's the most diverse metropolis in the country. The city of Houston alone is the most diverse city in the country, one of the most diverse cities in the world.
Right.
So when you look at both the current demographic and the growing demographic, not only over Greater Houston, the state of Texas, it the numbers are it's, it's uh, incredibly it's inclusive. We are a reflection of the world and what America has become, as opposed to what America used to be.
Um, Speaking to the community, um, what would you say to the people out there who you can say they attempted to vote, uh, actually made votes, and then they had their ballots returned, and then it gives them thoughts, or for whatever reason they can't go back out and do it, or they feel uh, faulted in some way. What would you tell those voters who you know may not have the opportunity to go back and submit those ballots for whatever reason, whether it be taken off of work again or whatever?
I think you have to make voting a priority. It, the impact on all our lives is too significant. So uh, if your mail-in ballot gets rejected, if you have the physical ability to go to a poll, I recommend them go to the poll. Or call your local county party, ask for advice. Um, the the new bill, we as politicians, no one can what they call solicit a mail-in ballot.
Okay.
They can definitely, someone can definitely come to you and ask for, you know, ask for advice. We can't fill it out for them.
Hmm.
So again, if anybody has the physical ability to get to a poll, my recommendation is to go to the polls, and then ensure that they fill out the ballot from top to bottom, completely fill out, leave no stone unturned.
Okay. Um,
What about? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What about like people? When I think about people that may be a little slow or something, or you know what I'm saying, they might be the sick and shut in, or they might be missing a couple of crayons in that box. You feel me? That doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to have a voice in politics or be able to vote to a certain extent. So I said that to say, with them being returned because of errors on the paperwork, like what are they going to do to educate the people on how to fill it out properly so that they can successfully?
That's why this new voting bill is so restrictive,
Mhm.
and that's why it's important to really look at who your representatives are in the state legislature at all forms of government. Because me being a state rep, or when I become a state rep, when elected, I will have the ability to go in along with both Democratic and Republican colleagues and say, here are the flaws in this bill. Let's rewrite it.
Okay.
Hope to get it passed. So we can look at being ADA compliant, make sure we follow civil rights guidelines to, again, ensure everybody has equal access to the ballot. That's why it's critically important. If we cannot, we are in one of the fights of our lives in terms of where we stand politically. We can't, we've worked too hard moving forward to go back another 50 years.
True.
If you really just thinking about that question, it's lovely. uh, Consider consider the civil rights movement when they gave these quote unquote literacy tests,
Right.
right? Uh, Effectively, very similar, right?
Mm.
The new voting bill. Again, the restrictions are significant, and yeah, we do need to have uh, something in place or a mechanism in place to help
But basically,
all
put it in
individuals.
layman's terms or however you want to say it. But
Yeah,
not everybody is a political. They may not understand the language, or so when they do, know there's these bills. Even if they look at them, they don't know what they're even looking at. Like, how does this affect me? That kind of stuff.
Right.
it does, and that's something that we look at. Not everybody's an attorney, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody has a PhD or a master's degree. And even if you did have a PhD or master's degree, if you're not an attorney, a lot of the language is difficult to understand. So we do, and that's part of being inclusive. We
Right.
do need to look at how our bills are structured, how language in elections are, according to our propositions, are structured. So just, and it's in layman's terms. It's not in this hyperbolic type of really difficult language to understand.
If we can, let's touch briefly on in the news, Justin Berry, who's also a Texas House District 19 candidate, being indicted on excessive force charges from a 2020 protest in Austin, the George Floyd. When you see things like that, being that he's also running for a Texas rep, uh, how tough does that make your run as well as other candidates when you hear those type of events taking place from another politician?
I don't think it affects my race or anybody else's race. I think it's on the individual,
Mm.
and I'm very careful to talk about someone else's campaign. It is there's no impact on my race.
Right.
My
Okay.
race is different. Uh, Me being on the coast, we have some very similar social issues to the rest of the state and the rest of the country. But if you look at my district is unique in a sense in terms of it is both urban and rural. Chambers County being mostly rural, Galveston County being urban, with some uh, with a few rural communities. And so, what my constituents care about is: are we going to be protected from flooding? How do we how do we augment our coastal barrier? Those those are really the pertinent issues that they are looking for, and they just want to see who is going to be the candidate that best represents them in Austin.
What would you need most from the voters, or what would you like to put out there for the communities of District 23?
I just want uh, voters to be open minded and to not think in a partisan manner. Think about the candidate that is going to fight for the constituency. Think about the candidate that is has a proven record of being fair, of being firm, which I believe that is me. And what I tell I'm a Democrat, and what I tell the party is, will there be some policies that I upset them on? Absolutely. Will there be some uh, policies that I upset the Republicans on? Absolutely. My goal and my job, even currently as an elected official, is to ensure the best outcome for my constituents, regardless of their color, regardless of their religion, regardless of their party. I represent them in the vast majority of their interest, and that's what I want them to understand.
Okay. Love, you have anything on that?
No, I do not. It's
All right.
actually break time anyway, so that's what I was gonna say. Because before we get into your next part
Okay.
of your topic, we can take a little small break and replenish some. I see some empty cups
Let's
in
do it.
here. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
Okay, Mr. Johnny,
We'll be back
cigars and
shortly.
cognac.
Stay tuned.